This is Your Petty Friend. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Your Petty Friend podcast.
Hello.
Season 2, episode 3.
Wow.
We have Emily.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're doing well. Emily, why don't we start with how do we know each other?
Okay.
Who you are.
Oh, God.
And how we fit into this world together.
Sure. Well, you've been friends with my older brother, Michael.
Yes.
For years now.
Yeah.
And I feel like the first time I met you, I was young.
You were very young. Do you remember the first time we met?
No.
Okay. Do you
Was
want me to
that
tell
my
you?
dad's house?
It was at your dad's house, and I had bought a new car.
Okay,
And
of course.
your brother
Of course.
had also bought a new car. And Michael, because he's such a car guy, he coordinated for us to get our window tinted at your parents' house.
Of course.
And his car went first, obviously, as in true Michael fashion, and my car went second. Your brother, because we were working at the Apple store. Your brother had to go back to work. I was done for the day. I wasn't working that day, or I was off or something. And so you had softball practice.
Oh,
and
God.
your mom came out and asked me if I could drop you off.
No way.
Yeah, which I did. And that was the first time I literally met you. And I was your Uber driver for the 5 minutes.
Honestly, nothing's changed, because I know if I called your ass, I'd be like, I need a ride.
Yeah,
You'd
I'd
be
give you
where
one.
are you? But no, I had no idea.
That was my first.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is crazy to think, because that was a really long time ago.
Well, yeah, because I stopped playing
Mm-hmm.
junior year of high school.
Which was a while ago.
Right. 9 years ago?
Yeah.
10 years ago?
But that was the first time I met you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I have no recollection.
And Michael doesn't remember because he wasn't there. He was at work. So.
Oh, I can't believe my mom actually asked you to take me.
Yeah, I was like, it's crazy that.
That's
this
kind of
woman-
bold.
I know. I was like, it's kind of like, you're trusting your kid's life in my hands.
You know, I'm the third child. They stopped caring a long time ago. They stopped caring after Heidi.
Yeah. So
Jinx.
your Emily is the youngest of 3.
Yes.
I am also the youngest of 3.
You're the baby.
I'm the baby.
We're powerful.
So I always relate to you the most.
Okay.
Out of your
Clan.
litany of, impeccable decision-making skills.
Oh, God. Are they impeccable?
I always, your brother will call me and be like, I got to talk to you about Emily. And I'm like, hit me with it.
No!
And he'll tell me, and I automatically know exactly why you're doing what you're doing, and I have to just break it down to him. I was like, look, as the youngest, we're a different breed. We're wild.
But
we don't want to be tamed.
No.
We don't want to be told what to do.
No.
So I am his, decipherer.
Yeah. You bring him back down, because he's so harsh with me sometimes.
Yeah. He's a tough love with you.
He is.
He's very, but I'm like, it's because she's the youngest, and you have to remember, she was kind of the farthest away from her parents in terms of upbringing, because there was 2.
Well, and with them, because Michael and Heidi are 18 months, and then I'm
right.
5 years
So that's a huge
from my
jump.
sister, and I'm 6 from Michael.
Right.
And so they were always off doing their own, and then I was just at home, with the parents, if they were home.
Right.
But no, and it's funny because he was the hardest on me. Like, growing up, I've kind of come to terms with his, I guess, acceptance is the one I always try to get the most.
Like, it means the most to you when he approves of something.
Yeah,
Which is
totally.
such an older sibling thing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but if he doesn't approve, I'll do anything to try and change his mind.
Yeah, I was like that with my oldest sister, Natalie. I was the same. But my oldest sister, Natalie, and I coined this phrase talking to Michael about you, which is funny. I call it templating. So what I used to do is I would mirror what my oldest sister was doing in her life to a T, because she was really popular, she was really pretty, she was really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like this in the closet, awkward.
Wait,
gay
when
kid.
did you come out?
It was like sophomore or junior year in high school. So it was like very early on.
Yeah, I feel
just
like that's
knew.
earlier than
I always
the
knew
social
something
norm?
was different. I didn't know what it was.
Got it.
But everybody else knew. And it was
It's kinda like Michael.
It was well, I like dragged your brother out of the fight.
I know. I saw that on the pod. I learned about it on the pod when I watched.
I was like, that was a very funny situation of two bitchy gays not getting along.
Yeah.
And then it brought us together. But my point is, I was mirroring a lot of what my sister was doing to a T, because it was in my head, she was being accepted by the family, friends, society, school, community, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, if I do what she's doing, then maybe it'll work for me too.
Right. It's accepted.
And it didn't.
No.
It didn't. It just made me even more weird.
Probably. Because you're not being yourself.
Because I'm not being yourself. And I think you've had little moments of that as well. And I've had to tell Michael, like, this is what she's doing.
Yeah.
And I get this is why she's doing this, because she's trying to find a way. Like, something has worked for somebody else.
Right.
And she's trying to mimic that in her own life.
Yes.
And sometimes it works.
Sometimes it works, but sometimes it does not.
Sometimes it does not.
No, not at all. I feel like out of my siblings and I, personality-wise, I'm very similar to my brother, but I have a lot of Heidi traits. My older sister's name is Heidi.
She's the middle one.
Yeah, she's the middle.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm kind of a balance of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like I pull more towards my brother.
I would say the same thing with my oldest sister,
Natalie.
Her and I have always been more like, and the middle child, the golden child, is always.
Always. Why is that always the middle?
They're the perfectionist, like the.
They could do no wrong.
Do no wrong.
And Michael and I are over here being slammed left and right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And Heidi reminds me so much of my sister Deanna.
Really?
Like twins. Like they think the same, they act the same, they are successful. It's just it's just like this differently wired brain.
Yeah.
Where they just see and they just do and they just go, and your parents just absolutely.
What's the age difference between you three?
2 years.
So it's like 2 and 2?
It's 2, 2, 2.
Oh, that's kind of
nice.
nice.
What's really crazy is, and I hope this is true because my mom says it's true, but my mom was married in the winter, had Natalie my mom was married in the fall, had Natalie in the winter, Deanna in the spring, and me in the summer.
Got it.
And she had us in sequence so that none of us ever overlap each other in terms of age or birthdays.
That's kind of smart.
So like Natalie's birthday's first, then it's Deanna's, then it's mine.
Whoa.
So it's
She's
like
got
we
brains.
never overlap each other.
Yeah.
At all, ever.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say Heidi. Emily grew up in El Segundo.
First of all, I've struggled with that my entire life.
Like, sorry, that was total. I've
even gotten Michael. Like back in high school, teachers. Now everybody just calls me Skulick, but I get Heidi, especially when I'm brunette.
Oh,
I get Heidi. Well, I'm red right now, but I get Heidi a whole lot more.
You toned it down a little bit.
I did.
Yeah.
I put brown in it. It was a lot.
It was very red. I'm not gonna lie.
I literally. Well, the thing
I
is,
loved it, but I could see why it was a shock.
I have rosacea.
Okay.
And so I felt like when I was a redhead,
red.
I felt like my cheeks were just, it looked like they were on fire all the time. And I'm like, I got to get this off my head.
I love a box redhead. It's like,
first of all, I'll never box dye my hair.
No, I know, but just like a not
stark
box,
red,
like a not natural redhead, like out of a box. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I play with my hair all the time. I love a good change.
I feel like your family likes you blonde, but I like you brunette.
Everybody loves me blonde. Like Heidi actually weirdly loves me brunette.
I think this is like the moment for you.
Michael said I couldn't take pictures in his wedding unless I was blonde.
I was
brunette.
And
How
you were like
rude.
blonde. You were like blonde. Mm-hmm. Do you remember I sewed your outfit at their wedding?
You sure did. Oh my God. Okay, so at my brother's wedding.
I sewed, by the way, everybody's outfit that day.
You were like the little tailor running
and
around.
I was like nervous. I'm like, anyways, go on, tell the story.
Well, so I'm in this really, it's not even skimpy, but it was tight. This tight all white jumpsuit. But it scooped down to where I had a little side boob going on. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was really thin, so my boobs weren't big, but they were apparent. You know, they were there.
They were there, yeah.
And it ripped a little down the side. And so it was like total
and you had
side
tape.
boob.
You had taped it, and I was like...
And Kevin's like,
I'm sitting in the kitchen. Keep in mind, like, Michael and I at this point are still fairly new to being friends again.
Right.
And it was at their house in Long Beach, and their neighbors...
Yeah.
I was like, does anybody have a sewing kit?
Amy.
And Amy was like, I do. And she brought it over and we stood in your kitchen.
And it was right before
it was like, my hands were like shaking. I was so nervous.
Well, I was like,
I'm
you better not mess this up because there's
like,
no going
but you
back.
you had a spray tan.
I sure
did. And the
did.
tape that you used like took
off my spray tan. No, it was just like a strip
of like white
skin.
of like your natural skin.
Oh,
and
God.
I sat there in the kitchen and I like sewed your jumpsuit together.
Yeah,
How did you get that off? Did you have?
I don't remember his wedding. I don't think does anybody remember his wedding?
It
was a party.
There is not a more annoying comment when your brother goes, you met them at my wedding. I'm like,
who?
I'm like, that was like 17 shots of tequila.
I was hammered before we even walked down, I think, because Heidi and I walked him down the aisle.
Yeah, I remember the last thing I remember was your dad's speech, which was a total knockout.
Oh God, I was so
I
emotional.
remember I couldn't even see because I was crying so hard. That's the last thing I remember.
See, no one knew.
And like the sun was shining in my face, so like I couldn't see. I'm crying.
It was so hot that day
and then,
too.
Oh my God,
blistering hot.
It was so hot. It was outside, and my only method of comfort was to just get absolutely shit-faced. I was like, I'm just going to shut down my nervous system and pull through this wedding.
No, it was such a beautiful wedding. My dad's speech was amazing. Yeah. Nobody knew he was going to do that. For those of you who don't know, my mom passed away a few years ago. Yeah. She unfortunately didn't have the chance to make it to my brother's wedding. Yeah. And so my dad did this beautiful speech. My mom was like a rocker, loved Aerosmith and just Molly, REO, all the greats, right? Yeah. And he pulled together the speech of all like lyrics that resonate with their songs.
Yeah. And he
killed it.
It was the speech to end all speeches.
They have it hanging somewhere in the house. I think it's actually right over there.
It's right over. I remember. So did your dad give him this gift, or who gave him the gift of like the?
I don't know, but
somebody in your family did.
Yeah, someone.
And I remember your brother had posted it on Instagram. And the second I started reading it, I like closed it. I was like, I'm not doing this today.
Yeah.
I was like,
no,
what a great gift, but holy shit, that was crazy.
No, it was a beautiful wedding.
It was, honestly, I think my favorite wedding I've ever been to.
See, I've never been to a lot of weddings.
I'm not a big fan of weddings.
I love a good wedding. Mm-mm. Why, you don't like to celebrate love?
No. They're just not as great as people think they are. They're not.
It's an excuse to get drunk.
Yeah, but you can do that at home when like you're in like what we're wearing now.
Yeah, but it's a big party. Yeah. Don't you love a party?
No.
Are you a homebody?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm here doing a fucking podcast inside.
Well, where else would you do
Well,
it?
I used to not be a homebody.
I was going to say.
But you know what's crazy though? You're a homebody.
I used to not be.
No, we used to be out.
All the time.
But Emily, you like sit at home and read.
I do. I love a good book. I love a book boyfriend. I love it all. This is the thing. Growing up in Southern California, LA, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The age people start drinking
is much younger
than most areas. Right. I started drinking at 15.
Yeah.
15, maybe 14. No, 15. I'm going to go with 15. And we used to party hard in high school. I mean,
so crazy to think
like
about that.
Getting blacked every Friday, every Saturday. And then I went to the pretty much number one party school, which is University of Alabama, Roll Tide. And I was so over partying by like my junior year. I couldn't do it anymore. And I also have kidney issues. And so it's just like, it was always a struggle. But now I'm 20, I'm going to be 26 next week.
She's a grown woman, you guys.
No, I don't want an adult. I don't want to be an adult.
It's so awful.
It's horrible. And now I just like to stay home. I've become an early bird. I get up at like 5:30, read for an hour.
Do you hear that?
Over coffee.
A 26-year-old in prime LA. Okay. Like living in a beach city in a beautiful fucking house.
I went to bed at 8:30 last night. And it was a Saturday night.
I was out with your brother last night, okay? I don't know how the fuck that happened.
I'm just over it. You know what it is? I love a good happy hour and like quality time with friends.
Sure.
I would rather do that and like go out for dinner, go out for drinks after, but be home by like 11:30. And like call it a night. And like call it a night. And I don't feel like crap the next morning. Yeah. I'm able to get stuff done. Whereas like but I've lost a lot of friendships from that as well. Like I've had like party friends and the invites did stop coming because I would always, kind of decline them, which I'm still friends with them. I just don't really see them, but I'm just over that chapter phase of my life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Drinking.
I feel like I've lived 9 lives.
Same.
And I'm tired.
When I like recap my early 20s, I'm like, I don't even know who that was.
No.
Like the fact that how I was living.
I don't know how I'm not dead.
Correct. I think the same thing.
Like, there have been moments where I should not have made it out.
No, there was definitely one Coachella where things got a little dicey for me. Where I literally woke up the next day and I had an epiphany of like, this is God saving you.
Oh,
and
really?
Not like in a righteous way, but like the universe is telling you that you need to stop.
Yeah.
Because I had just gone way too hard this one Coachella. And
that's terrifying.
I should have stopped breathing at some point in my sleep, and I didn't.
Right.
But I woke up.
I haven't had anything that extreme.
Good. That's good.
Like, I have, but not to, like...
that extent.
Yeah.
I was really I was like, let's see what this body can do. Which is not a good...
No. Well, I'm also... Okay, I'm a lightweight, but I can keep going. Like, I get drunk or, like, buzzed really fast. Like, a drink and a half, 2 drinks. But I can last. And that's the thing. It's like, I can drink...
You can keep going.
All night if I have to. But then I get really bad anxiety. And I struggle with anxiety in general. Yeah. And so waking up, I'm over that feeling. I'm over like the shakes, like feeling like I'm going to faint when I walk down the hall. Like it's just, my body can't take it anymore.
No, I get that. It's crazy that usually happens when you're 30.
Yeah, no.
But now you're...
I don't know.
You put your body to the test.
I really have. And it's funny because I was actually over at Michael's house the other night with his husband, Anthony, my brother-in-law. Yeah. And Anthony, we're all sitting up at the table and he's like, I always forget you're younger. And I was like, why? He goes, because you're 25 hanging out with us on a Friday night in pajamas. Like I was out on the town at your age. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know. I'd prefer this over spending $300 at the bar.
Yeah.
And like Ubers are so expensive. It's just everything is so expensive nowadays. And it's just like, for what?
So how do you manage your life right now economically?
Okay.
And how does that make an impact on who you date, how you date, where you go, where you eat, where you drink?
I mean... So I'm a 9 to 5 for work, right? And so my week is pretty routine, pretty mundane. Yeah. In terms of how that affects like what I do, I would say I would rather have it that way because I have weekends. A lot of my friends are remote and whatever, and like they're always going on a whim, whereas I'm very routine based. Okay. So I actually kind of like being a 9 to 5.
Because it keeps me balanced. But like there's a plan.
Right. And then like dating life, I mean, I know my schedule. I know where I'm going to be. Like for instance, my friends are in medical sales, right? So like half the time they're traveling in one city, like, and it's like hard to plan things because they plan so far out. Whereas I'm, like you said, a homebody. I work 15 minutes away from my house. Like I don't have to commute really. I'm very spoiled. But no, when I date, because I've now been single for about a year and a half-ish.
How's that going?
I don't know. Because, okay, this is the thing. I'm such a relationship girl.
Yes, you are.
I love being a girlfriend.
Yes, you do.
I don't know if it gives me a sense of purpose or what, but I just love caring for someone.
Okay.
But the thing is, I lose myself a lot when I get in these relationships.
Go on.
I'm uncomfortable. Okay. But so I've been single.
Okay.
I've been dating.
Okay.
And I'm fine with being single. I think in my past I was never okay with being single. Like it made me uncomfortable.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. I'm in therapy. We're figuring it out. Okay. I honestly think too, I have codependency.
Okay.
Especially being the third child. I feel like I was always surrounded by someone. Like whether it was me being watched by an aunt, by a parent, by my siblings. Like I always had someone next to me.
Physically there.
At all times.
I get that.
And even when I went away to Alabama, I struggled a lot. Just like being away from my close relationships. It took me a long, long time to adjust.
Sure.
So then within relationships in my past, I definitely didn't have a sense of boundaries. Like I was always like all in or like not at all. Like I'm like, let's do this thing. Like, you know?
I've heard the stories.
Yeah, and I just learned that's not the way to go.
Okay.
It's not healthy.
So, when you say single,
Yeah.
is that single not talking to anybody? Or
No.
Right. Is there a roster? Is there a few people? Is there just one? Because I heard you talking about somebody earlier, and I didn't want to mention it, but I'm like,
Here
I think
we are.
that's somebody.
No, okay, so
You don't have to name names, obviously.
No, never.
Okay.
Even in my phone, my contacts are like Mr. and then the city they live in.
Oh, that's smart.
So like when I reference people with my friends, I'll be like, oh, Mr. New York, Mr. Austin, Mr. Boston.
That's
like,
smart.
Or like where they're from in LA, like Venice, WeHo, like, you know, whatever.
I always put where I met them so that I remember.
No.
It'll be like their name and then from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'll forget.
No,
'Cause
see,
a
I
lot
won't
of guys
forget.
have a lot of the same names.
Yeah. I've actually never dated anyone
I have a lot of J names for some reason.
toxic.
Yeah, a lot of J names in my.
Ugh. Yikes. I mean, I did. My longest relationship was with the J name. 4 years. John. I'll name drop that one.
Oh yeah,
My college boyfriend.
Wait, oh my! I didn't know you then, but
Yeah.
I've heard little tidbits of this
Yeah.
one.
So that was college though.
Okay.
But no, currently I would say, I would say I'm in a situationship. There is no roster. I
Okay.
am focused on one person, but
Okay.
he doesn't live in California. He lives in Texas.
Okay,
But
that's kind of tough. No.
yeah, I don't know, because like I don't even know if we're in a situationship. Let's put it this way: we
Okay.
met like 3 years ago in Cabo.
I love this story.
Yeah,
Okay.
met 3 years ago in Cabo.
Like separately, you guys are just partying
I
there
was
with your own
going
friends.
out for a 25th birthday at the time. Speaking of being, hold on, I'm going to total like sidetrack
Go for
here.
it.
Being the youngest and like having older siblings, I've always found myself hanging out with older people.
Same.
And so I'm like, yes, I
You feel
have
more comfortable. Go
I
on.
have friends my age. I just don't feel like I relate to them.
Yeah.
Like again, people my age are out partying currently. Good for them. I'm past it. I'm
Yeah.
more like I like to settle down now and I want to plan my future type of
Yeah.
thing. But a lot of my friends that I connect with more are 3-4 years older than me, 2, whatever.
Okay.
And so at the time, I was 22 going out for my friend's 25th birthday. We went to Cabo for the
I see.
weekend.
Okay.
There was like 6 of us girls trip.
Hot girls, by the way.
Yeah. I'm very blessed with my friend group.
They all look like they go to Stagecoach, and
We're those we did go to Stagecoach too.
I know,
and
I saw the
it was
photos.
a time.
But looking at Emily, you could easily tell what your friends look like, and
Oh God.
you know, no, I'm not,
That
not
makes me
in a, not in a,
uncomfy.
no,
I'm
not in a
like-
bad way, but like hot white girls, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but
No.
go on.
Anyway, long story short, there's a group of guys and girls, but there's a lot of them. There's like 15 or 20 of them. And we were down at the bar first day. One of the guys came up to the table and was like, oh, we should all like merge tables, whatever. Did just that. Ended up spending the whole weekend with this other friend group.
Okay.
One of my friends on the trip and a girl that was there ended up dating one of the guys from that group for like a year and a half after.
Okay.
But we all stayed in touch. So
Okay.
the guy that lives in Texas was on that trip.
Okay.
So we met 3 years ago in Cabo. Always stayed in touch, but I had 2 relationships in between then. Again, as I was like, this is 3 years ago. Or maybe 4. I think it's like 4 years now. But we've always stayed in touch. And then he reached out last summer and he came to visit in like November. I went out in January. He just got here in May. And now I'm going back to Texas on Thursday.
To see him
To see
specifically.
him.
Okay.
Because I don't know. Like, we haven't had like the talk like of what this is.
But do you think that it's going to be hard though if you're
No,
not
he's
in the
older.
same state?
He's
What's older?
35.
Oh, older than me. Mm-hmm. Okay, I like this.
Yeah. He
In some
actually might
weird
be
way, it feels-
34, turning 35.
It feels right in some weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very comfortable with him. He's expressed interest, but then at the time I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not there. I just got out of I actually was like, no, I need to like work on myself and like heal some trauma that's going on. But it's funny because I had therapy yesterday, and my therapist was like, you could do two things simultaneously. Like, you could heal yourself and pursue opportunities within relationships.
That's really good advice.
She's a really big advocate on that. Like, it doesn't have to be like one and then the other.
Right.
And so I don't know. I am interested in him. I can see, I don't know.
Future.
I can, but like, I also like there's a lot of logistics to figure out. But I benched everybody else. Let's put it that way.
Got it. So there's one.
Yeah.
There's one main.
I only have one focus right now. So
that's new for you.
That is. Because typically when I am single, like, yeah, there's a roster, but I've never been someone who slept around. Like, I hate hookup culture.
I can't say the same
for myself. Hate it. Again, relationship girl. Yeah. Like, I always make people, like, I'm very traditional in that sense. Like, when I'm talking with someone, yes, I'm a firm believer that you should test the waters before you date someone.
Right.
Like, you got to see if you have sexual chemistry.
Obviously.
But I don't give in quick, like, whatsoever.
No, you put up a fight with everything.
Mm-hmm. And so it's like, they got to work for it.
Look.
And that's how I always bag them. Everyone's like, how do you get boyfriends? Because all my friends are stuck in hookup culture. I'm like, because I don't sleep with them.
Your brother tells me this all the time.
What?
To like, don't hook up. If you like somebody, you
don't do it.
Hook up with them immediately because then you just fuck everything up.
You do. And you know what? You gain their respect.
I need to take a page out of your book.
Trust me. It works. And so, but again, I'm not like some little prude that's like, you're 6 months in and I still haven't done anything. You know what I mean? Like, boring. Like, you gotta give them something to look forward to.
Yeah. So, okay. What was it like growing up in El Segundo?
In what way?
Just your perception of life. You know, El Segundo is it's very different here.
Yeah.
What was that like? And you haven't left either.
No.
Which is so funny.
Well, I did, but I came back.
You did for college, right? And then you came back.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have if my mom never got sick.
That's right.
So it's, okay. Growing up, my family is pretty known in El Segundo.
I would agree.
And so, again,
you also don't know how known they are until you're in the family.
In the environment and in the family.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, like I said, everybody partied in high school. I was past curfew once, walking down the street. I'm not kidding you, Kevin. 2 cars passed by me, and I look at my girlfriend. I'm like, I'm screwed. 10 minutes later, my dad calls me, why are you walking on Grant? Like, get home.
Oh, my God.
Like, I had eyes on me everywhere. Like, I couldn't get away with... If my dad or parent asked me a question, like, they already knew the answer... And it took me a long time to realize that.
Okay.
And so, like, I just couldn't get away with anything. However, with that, it did, like, there is a sense of community.
Okay.
Like, because it is such
it's not a big city.
such a small town, but
Yeah.
with that, you have the whole small town life.
Right.
And, like, the drama, the gossiping, and, like, you'll get pulled into it, whether you want to be or not.
It's very, like, I don't want to say Desperate Housewivesy, but
no, it is like Wisteria Lane.
It's very everybody knows.
It's like Little House. Well, what is it? We're like there's a saying, something about the Mayflower or something like that by the beach.
I'm not that white. I have no idea.
I don't know, but no, I do enjoy El Segundo. But between El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, and Hermosa, everybody calls it like the bubble. Mm-hmm. And once you're in, it's kind of hard to leave.
Yeah.
And it sucks you in, and there is a different culture. Like within like these 3 cities and Los Angeles. Yeah. Like it's so beachy.
It's a beach
but
town.
It's very like vibe.
There's a lot of money here. And you, depending on who you know and where you go and who you're speaking to, you feel it or you don't. But you definitely know when there's...
Of course. Yeah. And like with my family, I mean, again, everybody knew of us. Like,
which is so crazy to have a spotlight on you from such a young age. Yeah. To kind of... fall into place and you're just like trying to be yourself.
Right. And like I was the kid in our family who always tested the waters. Both my siblings will say I got away with murder compared to them. Mm-hmm. I don't think I did. But like maybe. I still don't think I did.
I would say you probably did because I did.
Well, whatever.
Like I should have been.
But I feel like
arrested.
my brother did the same things that I did. Like I feel like I didn't do anything. My brother, Heidi, like Virgin Mary, sat at home, couldn't even do a sleepover. I was begging my family to let me do a sleepover because like I was never able to because they knew I'd get into something.
You had that spark.
You know,
That,
like
yeah.
I had different
Hands in the cookie jar.
restrictions than my siblings did. I'm a different kid.
Right.
But I feel like I was just more honest about what I was doing. That was my parents' policy. Like if you could be honest, like we'll give you leniency.
Okay.
Like follow our rules and then you'll be fine. Now
That's-
I
look,
would
that's
bend them
fair.
a lot. Like again,
Yeah.
I would obviously take advantage. I was like a 15-year-old. Also, I got my car when I was 15.
Which is crazy.
And so like
but it's so normal here, but
yeah.
crazy.
Well,
to
when
think
I was
that.
14, we had this little golf cart. Do you remember the golf cart?
I don't remember that.
Okay, so we had this golf cart. And okay, El Segundo is only 4 miles by 4 miles. So
Yes.
it,
A
again,
lot of
it's really
hills.
little, a lot of hills, whatever.
Yeah.
But my parents kind of were just over parenting, I guess. Not over parenting, but like.
I'm sure they were tired of doing the drop off, the pick up
Right.
drop
And
off.
so
Yeah.
at 14, I just used to always take the golf cart everywhere. And like, that was fine. And so then when I got my permit at 15, which my birthday's in June, so I got my permit in December.
Okay.
That Christmas, I got my car.
This is so cute. I love this.
Yeah, it was like my mom put like the car keys in an ornament, and I had to search the tree. And then Michael had left and got the car and put a big red
Oh my
bow on it
God.
and the horseshoe, and it was really neat. It was a really cool experience. Very very grateful and blessed.
That's a really cute
But I
moment.
used to take it. I would take the car when I was 15 because it's just.
You were out partying in this car.
Well, I definitely had like liquor store trips in that car. I was 15. Like I don't even have my driver's license, and here I am, like someone from Ohio.
Oh, fierce.
Like, what was my name on it? I think it was Emma, or it was so
Something
close.
easy.
Yeah,
Something easy.
But it definitely was an Ohio ID. But no, I got away with a lot. Like even in school, I was a Skulick, so like, but I also got a lot of shit. Also, like
Okay.
people felt that they could joke around with me more because they knew my family, or
They
like
could bust your
even,
balls a little bit.
yeah, and
Okay.
even be more harsh on me because they knew my parents.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know. It goes hand in hand, I guess.
It goes hand in hand. What are you up to these days?
In terms
What
of
is your forefront? What is your daily life?
well, I
What are
get
you
up
really obsessed with right now?
reading.
What are you reading?
Right now, I'm really into like murder mysteries.
And you're not like a TV girly.
Yes, I am. Like I've seen Grey's Anatomy about 16 times, start to finish. Love Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
But I think, and I know you work for Netflix, so like I'm really sorry about this, but I think like all new shows and like movies that are produced to depict like normal life nowadays sucks.
Okay.
Like
Fair.
the acting is awful. So like the shows I do watch, they're like early
From
2000.
back
Yeah,
in the
like
day.
good, like 2010 movies slap.
Oh yeah. I stopped watching Grey's Anatomy when Denny died, which is
That's
very
early.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped when Derek died.
I'll never forget. I was sitting in my room bawling my eyes out, and I'm like, I don't even know this man. I'm not watching this anymore.
Denny was a heartbreak for
That's so
sure.
sad.
Yeah, no, horrible. But no, I get up in the morning. I'm a big coffee girl.
Okay.
So I make a cup of coffee. That's like, I'm not a nice person without a cup of coffee in the
Okay.
morning. And then like during the week, I'll go to work. Don't have to get there until like 8:30.
Love
Sometimes
that.
I'll go to the gym before. If I go to the gym, it's before work always. But I'm not consistent, so I don't even say that's in my routine.
Okay.
Go to work and then come home. Again, I do live at home still. My dad travels quite often.
Yeah.
He's gone pretty much like every 2 weeks. And so for me, there's just no point on moving out, especially why would I pay him rent? But like, why would I pay someone else rent? And like, it's not my house. I don't know. Like,
No, I think that makes sense. I mean, right now,
it works for me.
But like rent is so
It's stupid.
It's wild out here in LA.
I mean,
Your jaw will
it's
hit the-
astronomical.
Your jaw will hit the fucking floor.
You might have, for me, I'm just trying to save until I have a deposit on a house,
Yeah, which I think is
you know?
I would move back in with my parents. My parents would be so happy if I did. I would shoot myself in the fucking head.
The only reason I'm there is because he's gone.
No, I know.
And even when he is home, we are like two peas in a pod. Like my dad is a character.
Your
like
dad is
there's
hilarious.
no one else like him. And so I do miss him when he's gone at times. Other times I enjoy
the alone time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so if he's in town, he has dinner already made for me. And he's like a fantastic cook.
Oh, your dad can throw it in the kitchen.
It's incredible. And so it's always something new too. He always has his own little creations. So I look forward to those. And then I read. Like right now, I've become kind of like a hermit. I think it is a phase though. And I did see something, and tell me if you agree or not.
Okay.
Where if you started kind of partying young, and then you go through like a phase of being a homebody, and then you go through another phase of like being super social, like around your 30s. That's what I've heard, but I don't know.
I have a hard time being social.
But I feel like you always kind of have been, no?
Yeah, I have a hard time being social, especially with people that I don't know. And I can't exactly pinpoint where it comes from, but it's something that I struggle with, and something that I've talked to your brother in length about, of like, I need to get better at this. So I practice at work because...
Is it because you don't trust people?
It's because I don't trust people, but when I was younger, it was definitely an insecurity thing. And the insecurity stemmed from being gay.
Yeah.
Now that that's at rest, it's almost like my defense mechanism was to be mean, because it let people know to not fuck with me, but I can't do that for the rest of my life. So I'm whittling it down to where it's not so much in the front of my mind. I'm trying to get rid of that. But I practice my social skills at work, and also this podcast has helped of just making small talk with people.
Yeah.
But at work, I meet a lot of people that I don't know, and you have to sit in a room and talk to them. And so it helps with that.
Pulls you out of your comfort zone.
It pulls me out of my comfort zone and helps me strengthen the skills to have conversations with people that I don't know. Because I could talk to you all day.
Yeah.
I can talk to your brother all day. I can talk to Anthony all day.
But you know us.
But I've known you for so long that it's so comforting, where for some reason when it comes to strangers, especially gay people, I struggle.
I feel like, again, I'm not LGBTQ, so don't come at me for commenting. But I feel like it's harder to be genuine, right? In a group like that. Because I feel like the culture, am I going to get canceled right now?
No.
The culture is there's a lot of trauma in there. Like, do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that we're all kind of running away from something.
Right. And so it's hard to connect almost.
Does
that make sense? Like,
does,
I'm not trying to step on any toes.
No, I know exactly what you mean, and I think there's definitely some truth to that.
It makes me so sad.
Yeah, I was in therapy for a very long time. That it started for a really stupid reason, and then the longer I stayed in therapy, I was able to kind of unlock a lot of shit that I was dealing with. This specifically being one of them, and you start to you get called mean enough times, you start to believe it, if that makes sense. And that's kind of anything.
Like a bully?
Like, I wouldn't say a bully, but just someone not necessarily so fun to be around. And I didn't like that.
Kevin.
I didn't like that.
I don't think you're that way.
Yeah. But again, I've changed that.
Yeah.
For it's something that I'm adamantly working on, and your brother knows this. To where, and him and I are a little similar in that respect, to where if we're at a party or we're out with people that we don't necessarily go out with all the time, like, we will look at each other and it's this look of, don't be mean and just watch what you say.
Oh, for sure.
So that.
You guys, when you're together though, he has no filter. Yeah. You just laughed rather than correct.
Yeah. And, it happens a lot with us, of just because, again, and a problem with me is I get so comfortable around people too quickly that I start, and I've talked about this before on here with your brother, I start ragging on people, like playing around with people a little too soon.
They don't take it as a joke.
Because they're like, I don't know you like that. And I'm like, what do you mean we've been best friends for 5 minutes?
Right, exactly. It's
and they're like,
just met them in the
this
bathroom.
guy's a dick. Like, they're like, get away from me. And so I'm also working on that, of being a little more cautious.
Well, at least you can acknowledge it, though. Because that really is the first step to anything, acknowledging that there is an issue that you want to change, and then making the necessary steps to do that.
Little girl, I'm trying. Okay.
Well, it'll pay off. I think you're doing great.
It's a work in progress, as is everything else.
Yeah. Well, okay, so wait. Do you think you're more of a follower or a leader then? Like when you're out?
A leader.
Yeah.
Your
Because
brother-
if you're
yeah.
not doing something, you're not doing it.
Kind of. It depends on like what we're doing and who's there. Because
Okay.
I love to play follow the leader. Where I don't want to think, I just want to do. You know, and then sometimes you have to be the leader because you want people to do what you want to do. So you can't just do that without
So situational.
So it just depends. I feel like your brother's the same way. Your brother and I are very alike, which is hilarious.
Situational. Michael.
Yeah. Well, Michael's the same way.
Yeah.
Michael likes to act like an alpha, but sometimes he wants to be the little spoon.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I think it's just a mask. He's just a little spoon at heart.
So, being the youngest sibling,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. Now that you're a little older, you've
Yeah.
gone through experiences.
I'm not the kid in
you're
the
not
family.
the kid anymore. Do you see like who's crazy in your family?
Yes.
And
Well, crazy for what?
just do you okay?
I think there's a problematic one in my family?
No.
Oh, I'm like,
so like now that I'm older, like growing up, you're just a kid, right? And you're not really paying attention to, I would say, personalities or strong opinions about things. And now that I'm older, I go, oh my God, you've been crazy my whole life. I just never noticed it.
Yeah.
Does it make a little sense?
No, it does. I see where you're getting at. I feel like I have definitely been able to form my own opinion about those in my family and the different relationships within that.
Sure.
Again, my family is, I want to say different, but we're really not. I mean, we're just severely, severely close where I feel like there sometimes are no boundaries.
Okay.
Like everybody knows everybody's info. Like there's no secrets in my family.
Which is so crazy to me.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, like we're also like the modern family.
Very
like
true.
we have the very Italian loud father.
Yeah.
We had the mom that passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
We have the gay brother. We have like
That's
the Virgin
true.
Mary sister who's like married with 2 kids at home, and then you have the wild child.
Yeah.
So like we really are the modern day.
You have the perfect makeup.
Yeah. And we're so fun. Now, in terms of family relationships, I feel like even if I were to comment on a situation, my opinion doesn't necessarily be taken as seriously as others because I am the youngest. And that's where it drives me nuts because it's like, okay, I'm not that little kid anymore.
Yeah.
Like
but you'll always be the little kid.
For sure. And it's like, hello. And oh my God, it's like this whole thing in my family. I get cut off a lot when you talk. Do you and yours?
No.
Oh, I get cut off all the time.
I would get so mad.
All the time. And so finally I learned to just go, your turn. Like if I'm talking and so Michael, for instance, will start talking over me, I'll be like, your turn. And then everybody stops because they catch it and just start busting up laughing. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, hello. Like,
you're like, I got something to say.
Right.
So
like, listen.
Needs to hear it.
Like, listen to me. And so I definitely think being the youngest, though, I do have a different outlook.
We're the best, by the way.
Yeah. I think we're the most, like, well-rounded.
Yeah.
For sure.
I always say my oldest sister is like my father. Mm-hmm. My middle sister is like my mom. Mm-hmm. And I'm split in the middle.
Same.
I'm like, I have a 50-50 split among my parents' personalities.
Michael's my mom. Mm-hmm. Heidi's so my dad.
Yeah.
And I am both. I'm more like my dad than my mom.
I catch myself more now having specific mannerisms like my dad. And I see them.
Yeah.
I'll be at my parents' house and he'll do something and I go, I do that. Like,
yeah.
And I'm getting, like, I'm
Michael
turning into you.
I feel like, oh, hello.
And she's changed and showered.
How is the gym?
Yeah.
And you? No, I would definitely say, like, my compassionate side, I feel like, and my ability to listen to others is way more my mom.
Yeah.
But like the fiery, like,
Is your dad.
oh, for sure. Like the inappropriate, like I don't have a filter half the time.
Right.
And that's so my dad. Like
Yeah.
reading a room
Is
my dad's side of me for sure.
Hi, Treads.
So many friends here.
So many dogs.
Friends.
Oh yeah. So many dogs. Teddy was having like a full-on anxiety attack earlier. So
What's up with dogs and anxiety? You know, I heard that they mirror their owners.
I think Teddy's just an anxious little dog.
Do you have anxiety?
Probably.
I do.
Yeah.
They put me on meds. I said no thanks.
See, I said this before, but I'm like, we're all dyslexic. We all have ADHD. We all have anxiety. We're all stressed. We're all depressed.
I definitely have ADHD and anxiety.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm depressed.
I don't think I'm depressed. I don't think, like, not right now.
I don't think I've been, okay, yes, I've been depressed once in my life, given, right?
Yeah.
But like on a everyday, no, I'd say I'm more anxious than anything.
This one has a lot of anxiety.
But Olive's anxious too.
Oh, your dog.
The bitch could barely breathe half the time.
Oh my God.
I know, but she's so cute. She's my child.
So what do you like to do on the weekends?
I love a good happy hour.
Where do you go in El Segundo?
Manhattan more. I go to Manhattan. I never go
What is
out in El
that?
Segundo.
Oh.
So
Do
I
you ever go to
typically-
Hermosa?
No, that was like my stomping grounds in high school.
That's...
No.
I'm telling you, Emily grew up different. I'm
No,
telling you.
Venice, you won't catch me in Venice
I
anymore
don't.
because that's high school.
Ugh,
Like Winston House, Townhouse, Bells, like all James Beach when James Beach was
Oh
down
my
there.
God.
That was like
Okay,
my
Townhouse
place.
is so like
It's gross.
sweaty.
It's disgusting.
It's steamy because so
And
many
so dark
people
in
are-
there.
Yeah.
Like you can't see anything.
The floor is covered in God knows
It
what.
smells. But yeah, so like Hermosa and Venice is when like where I would go in high
Okay.
school. Now I'm more of like dinner and a happy hour. Love Shellback though. And
Oh
Manhattan.
God.
I'm such a Shells
yeah,
girl.
So does your brother.
Right. And so if I do go out, or I'll go to Samo, which is like weird. That's like super off for me to go to San
Where are you
Monica.
going out in San like the bungalow?
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's like, I hate it. But like if I'm going anywhere, that's probably where I'm going.
Okay.
But Manhattan and El Segundo are just right there.
We're so close.
So it's like, why am I going to spend $65 on an Uber when I could almost walk to the bars
That's fair.
down here?
That's
like,
fair.
it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. But typically during summer, since summer's, pretty much here,
Yeah.
like on the weekend, beach, go home, shower, happy hour, and then like go to the bars in Manhattan. I'm more of a dive bar girl anyway.
But they're better anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's like my weekend. And then Sundays, I always go over to my sister's house, see the babies. Well, now babies, used to be baby.
Yeah.
And then veg over there, come to Michael and Anthony's.
So
Veg
you just like
over
rotate,
here.
you like have a little map.
Oh,
of,
yeah.
like,
I
all the
just go in a
spots you need to
circle.
hit. Yeah.
But again, I'm like definitely in like the homebody era. But that's like my weekends. Like, again, everything's pretty mundane and routine.
So you mentioned this yesterday, by the way. Michael and Anthony had a barbecue for Anthony's birthday.
Yes.
You mentioned this yesterday. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
What did I say?
But grief.
Oh, yeah.
And
We
I
can talk about it.
know this was. Do you remember the conversation that we had at Michael's? It was Michael's birthday in, where was that? The wine country or
Oh,
the winery
Paso.
in Paso.
Paso Robles?
And we went to that last.
Justin?
It wasn't Justin. It was
Austin Hope?
It was like a brewery almost.
Oh, where Michael did the speech.
Yes.
I
And
remember
you
being there. I
and
don't remember our conversation.
We had quite a deep conversation, and I know Anthony
Did
was
we?
like, "What were you guys talking about?" I was like, "Oh, we're just having a talk,"
I know.
and it was about grief.
Huh.
And I knew where you were in the process of that, but
Yeah,
I didn't.
no, I
it
don't
wasn't my
remember.
place to tell you like what to do. I was like, she just needs someone to listen. She needs someone
Yeah.
to listen to her.
I mean, losing a parent in your early 20s, like, if
Yeah.
you've ever experienced that, I am so, so, so sorry. Like,
Yeah.
I completely understand where you're at. It is one of the worst experiences to ever go through. And here comes Michael.
Now Michael's here. Look, the whole family's here.
Hello. But yeah, so my mom got diagnosed with cancer when I was, 20, I think. I was away in college.
Okay.
She had stage 4 ovarian cancer, and they gave her 3 years, and it was like 3 years to the day almost. So they really had it.
Yeah.
But I was gone for most of her sickness, which I struggle with a lot of guilt about. You know, my mom didn't have the best upbringing, and she was very adamant on us going to college and graduating, and she didn't want her own situation to affect that for her kid. And so those were her wishes for me to remain at Alabama. And if I would do anything to change that, I would, because I think that's where my anxiety stems from.
Okay.
But grief hits everybody different. I would definitely say there's no right or wrong way to grieve, and there's no set timeline. I would maybe say that I've struggled more than my siblings. I just think in a different way.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not a fun experience.
No. I can't imagine.
But so she passed away like 3 weeks before COVID, like before everything shut down. COVID was just happening. But that was kind of like a blessing in disguise, right? Because the world was shut down, and my family really had time to be together and like come together.
Right.
Again, we are a really close family, but that really just like solidified
how tight you guys were.
Yeah, but she was the rock of our family. But from there, the world just kind of shut down. So I would say that it was a really depressing time because you couldn't really escape it. You kind of had to face it head on. But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember much of 2020 and 2021. Like I was here, but I was not here.
Yeah. That was rough. That was rough. I know. I want to say, and I don't know if I have this right or not, but I know your mom played some kind of factor into Michael and I becoming friends again. And
I don't know.
And it's crazy to hear that. And I met your mom a few times, and she was always just the nicest, funniest.
She was the best
woman. And
she was too good for this earth, really. Yeah. That's just what it is.
She was a lovely person.
She was one of those people that you could go to her with anything, and she would just understand.
Yeah, and she was always like, she would help you.
Just no judge. Like, obviously, she would still parent, right? Like, that was her job. But there was no bashing or how could you, like, okay, well, this is now what we're going to do. Yeah. Like, like, we got to fix this, and, I'll show you the way, but it's on you, you know? But that's just one thing. It's really weird navigating, especially being a woman, like navigating your early 20s without a mom. Yeah. I see like a lot of my girlfriends being now really close with their moms and like going out and like getting a cocktail, just like those little things that I'll never get to experience. Like, she'll never meet my husband. She'll never see my first house. Like, there's just like, she'll never be at my wedding. Like that, those are just things that like kill me inside. Yeah. But I just think at the end, like, she was robbed, right? Like she had to go knowing, like, and looking at her kids and knowing like she wasn't going to be here to meet her grandkids and like see these things. And she handled that. She handled just everything with such grace. Yeah. And she was religious. I mean, my family is pretty religious. And so she knew she was going to heaven. And she was really at peace with where she was going, which I think made losing her easier. Because she made it clear to all of us that she was okay. And she was going to be okay. Yeah. And I think it's so crazy because like I'll get on these TikTok algorithms of like moms having cancer and being like, I don't want to die. Like, I don't want to leave my kids. And like, if I had to hear that from my own mom, like I would not be well. But it was polar opposite than that. Like she's like, I'll always be with you. Like, like you just got to look for me and I'll be there. Yeah.
Do you ever feel her?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. And I talk about it with...
But do you ever see like signs of her?
No.
Okay.
No, and I really, I'm laughing right now because I laugh when I'm uncomfortable. But that's one thing I struggle with because I don't feel her. Whereas like a lot of my, oh my gosh, it's not funny. A lot of my siblings, I only have two. They do. And my dad does as well. It's like, I don't. And it's kind of bizarre. My brother and a family friend have had 2 encounters with like a medium, I guess.
Okay.
And my mom came through on both of those readings and said that like she's focusing all of her energy on me.
Okay.
And so I don't really know. I mean, I don't know, but no, I've had one experience where it was like right after she passed. I was in a bathroom and like at a gas station or no, car wash.
Okay.
Like absolutely just like bawling in the bathroom.
Okay.
Because like I think she had died like 2 months like
Prior.
since then. Yeah. And then when I walked out, like Sherry, Sherry baby was playing on the radio. And I was just like, whoa. Like, okay, coincidence maybe, but like
No,
that,
that's a
not at
sign.
all. That was the only time I felt her.
She's around. I'm sure she
No,
is.
everyone's like, well, are you open to it? Like, yes.
You're like, yeah.
Like I'm like this, like trying to find her anywhere I go. But no, I don't think you ever fully heal from a loss like that. I definitely think I'm behind on the healing process and everybody else in my life. I think I'm still struggling with it.
Okay.
But like I said, there's no right or wrong time of which one gets over that type of loss.
Yeah. I can tell you've come such a long way.
Yeah, I
The
used to not
last
even be
time-
able to talk about her. Like I would walk out of the
remember that.
room. I used to not even be able to see a picture of her. Like it would just make me really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But now I love talking about her.
I mean, she was an incredible.
No,
like,
she was
human.
just the best. But see,
Yeah.
like that's the whole thing. It's just like I struggle with like the whole why still. Like
Yeah.
why did this happen? Why did it happen to her? And like I just don't think I will agree to anything. Like, you know, like I won't accept it. That's the thing. I don't think I'll ever accept the loss.
But you're more at peace now with.
Yes. I mean, life goes on, right? Life goes on. How do I want to say this? I'm at peace with it, yes, but I'll never be okay with it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like
that's fair.
I'll never be okay with it, but I don't want to like keep carrying that on me.
Right.
Like, you know, it really weighs you down
Yeah.
because like you can't change it.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, I talk to her. Like, and I used to refuse to do that also because I'd be like, she can't hear. Like, that's just weird, like talking to nobody.
Right.
Now I talk to her all the time. Like, I'll just be driving and I'll be chit-chatting. But then I start overthinking and like,
Okay.
oh my God, she sees everything I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you believe in or what, but yeah, grief and death, it's just, everybody experiences it differently. And I just never wish that on anyone.
But I'm very proud of you for you made the right moves for yourself.
Yeah, I
to-
got into therapy.
Yeah, to be able to get at least to this
Yeah.
space, this mental
Yeah,
space.
no, I mean, I'm definitely like miles ahead to where I was, like from where I was, even just, I would say 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
But I hate comparing people. Like, I think comparing people, like, you just shouldn't do that because everybody's their own person. But even just like, and my mom's death really affected my relationships, right? Because when I was jumping from relationship to relationship, I really was trying to fill a void.
Right.
Which was like being loved unconditionally and finding that connection again, like from not having it with my mom anymore.
Correct.
And so like after she passed is when I started always being in a relationship. Like I was in a long-term relationship, my mom passed, and then I went into two relationships after she had passed. Just trying to fill that missing hole.
Like distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like trying to feel loved while I was hurting. Because if you think about it, when my mom passed, you know, my siblings, Michael and Anthony were engaged, Heidi and Paul were married.
Right.
So they always, at the end of the day,
Had
got to go
somebody,
home
yeah.
and like had someone next to them. Whereas
Console
like
with somebody else.
I
Yeah.
didn't. And like, yes, you could say I had my dad, but like,
Right.
no,
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Right.
And like then he started traveling all the time. So it's like, not really.
Right.
And so I was just trying to find that person.
Yeah.
And almost trying to not replace my mom. That's not what I'm trying to say, but you know.
You were like, it was a fix to
a bigger problem.
You didn't want to deal with it.
No, again, I put it in the back of my mind for, I would say, a good 2 years.
Look, I've been there. I haven't had a parent pass away, but I've been there with a relationship, like, Band-Aid of, like, just focus on somebody else.
Yeah.
But that just it's crazy how that just leads to bigger, horrible, badder issues that you're going to have to fix later on.
And so again, in this year and a half of being single, like I've really, again, have focused on myself and like really my grief.
Yeah.
Because it was something I refused to confront for, years.
Yeah.
And I feel better. Like I don't feel as heavy. Like after my mom died as well, I went through a huge eating disorder. Like I just was not...
You weren't doing so
well.
Yeah.
Wasn't well at all. And so just a lot of things have changed. And I learned a lot about myself in the last few years. And I mean, your 20s are scary anyway, of like figuring life out. Yeah. And that was really hard to do on top of losing a parent.
Yeah.
But we are here.
I'm glad. Look, you seem to be doing just fine.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. It's good. I know when to be in touch with myself now in situations. Yeah. Like if I was upset, okay, for an example, if I was upset about like my mom, okay, I would again take it out on others. Like if it was like my mom's birthday.
Okay.
Right? Where I'm like, I'm not doing too hot today. But then I would be like lashing out at everyone. It's like, okay, well, maybe I'm not social today. Like maybe on February 27th, I take it.
We keep to ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, like identifying where things are.
I think that's
not connecting.
That's a really good strategy for basically anything.
But no, I think definitely, and I think that's also why I've become more of a homebody as well.
Okay.
Is that your true friends and like the people who want to be in your life will show up.
Yeah.
During
your darkest times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am blessed with a lot of great friends in my life. Mm-hmm. But I also I don't have any room for bullshit anymore. That's like fair. I don't have the energy for it. Like I did drop a lot of people from my life after my mom died too, because it's like, those friendships that you have to use energy for.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't have that.
Like, I'm sorry. You did nothing to me. Like, you really never did me wrong. Right. I don't have the time or desire to use my energy on a situation.
Because you have nothing left to give.
No.
And so why?
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. I don't want to say I've become more judgy, but I've definitely I pick my time and who I spend it with wisely.
Well, you're probably better at sensing what's worth it and what's not.
Yeah. Well, I just learned that this is so cliche. Life is so short. Life is so short.
Yeah.
And again, I'm only in my mid-20s, but like, I don't know I can't believe my mom's been gone almost 4 years. Like time flies. Yeah. Like sometimes it feels like a long time. Sometimes it feels like yesterday. Yeah. Like, like it just happened. Yeah. But I've just learned who to spend my time with and like enjoy those moments, and if not, I'm going to keep to myself and enjoy doing my own thing.
We have some, I think they're gone.
I think they're too, but they didn't shut the door. It's okay.
That's okay. We can go shut it. Is there anything else you would like to talk about? Because if not,
let's see.
Look,
I don't think so.
This has been a solid episode. This is a solid conversation.
We killed it.
We absolutely did. Your first time on here. Look at that.
Hopefully not the last.
No, not the last.
Again.
You will come back.
Can I be honest about something?
Yeah,
though?
Go for it.
I definitely thought we were testing when we first started.
No,
because how you're like, I'm gonna clap and then we're gonna go.
Yeah.
I thought you meant as like a test thing.
No.
So like about 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is it.
This is it.
I was like, oh, let me sit up. Like. I did not. I was gonna brush my hair before this. Anyway, yeah.
Emily, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You will be back.
Thanks.
I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode.
I know. Thanks for having me, everyone.
We went very deep on this one.
We did. We talked a lot.
But thank you guys so much for listening, and you'll catch us on the next one.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
That was fun.
That was amazing. Thank you for listening to the Your Petty Friend podcast. Watch us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify.